On January 15 of this year, the People's Council of St. Petersburg held an event in Williams Park, in downtown St. Petersburg, Florida. This public event was to figure out how best they can effectively put pressure on both the city council and the county commissioners over the escalation of home prices and rental costs in St. Petersburg and Pinellas County. This problem has been slowly coming to a head. In 2019, the GOP-controlled Florida legislature voted to allow local governments to require developers to build affordable units in new projects, but counties and municipalities must provide incentives to fully offset the cost to developers. This has dampened the enthusiasm to get out in front of the shortfall of low-cost housing. So the People's Council rally in Williams Park was formed to discuss what the next steps should be to put pressure on local legislators. Aaron Detrick and Alex Wilkowski discussed the housing problem with Tampa Bay Video Citizen before a city council meeting in mid-December. Here is what they had to say.
We're here tonight to talk about affordable housing and rent control. I work with the Florida Public Services Union. We represent city workers here. And across our city, we're just dealing with the fact that everything's going up except for pay. What we'd really like to see in the immediate is we'd like to see the city declare a state of emergency on housing. And if they do that, that allows residents to vote for rent control for a period of 1 year. Right now, we're seeing the highest rent increases of any metropolitan area in the country. So we're demanding emergency action to keep people from being displaced from their homes.
My name is Alex Wilkowski. I'm with Pinellas DSA. I'm the co-chair, and I'm out here today, and my comrades in Pinellas DSA are out here because we're working class people and we can no longer afford to live in this city. Maybe those of us that are lucky enough to have a home are lucky that we got in previously, but if we had to buy today, there's no way we could afford it. And we provide essential services to the city of St. Pete, such as teachers and bus drivers and various other essential workers, and we can't even afford to live in the community we serve. And so we're tired of asking for affordable housing. We want guaranteed housing in St. Pete. We want emergency measures passed by our city council, bring a vote to the people on a freeze on rent and protecting the people so they can at least afford to live, and we can work on other policy solutions that will ensure guaranteed housing for the people of St. Pete.
Now that you have heard from the leaders, here are excerpts from the January rally.
My name is Aaron, which is the third meeting of the People's Council of St. Pete. I want to welcome all of you here. Thank you so much for being out. We're here today. We're fighting for a housing state of emergency in St. Petersburg. We've got 3 steps today. We're going to deliberate, we're going to report back, and we're going to vote. We're all different, we all look different, but we're all going through the same problem here in St. Pete. We're struggling to hang on to housing, that most basic of securities in your life. We've agreed to come together as equals to find pragmatic solutions. This is not a conversation about ideology, this is a conversation about how we get things fixed. And I think the truth behind that is that our beliefs are not what make us better people, it's our behavior. And I just want to say all of you guys have taken the step to come out and participate in your local democracy, and you're really good people by me. Thank you for being here. So what's happened so far? What we're here to do today is decide on next steps. But we want to give a kind of recap of where we've been over the past few months because it's important. We had 2 emergency meetings, one in October, one in November. And at these meetings, we asked you all to vote on what we should do. We asked you to vote if this was a housing state of emergency you were going through. We asked you if all people in St. Pete should be entitled to a home. And we asked you to vote on tactics of how we put pressure on our city leaders. All of these things you voted unanimously on. That's a pretty big deal. When we agreed to do our first action, we went on December 16th to City Hall to demand that the City Council and the Mayor declare a housing state of emergency in St. Pete so that we can look at rent control, rent stabilization, and guaranteed housing in our city. At that meeting, more than 150 of you attended with more than 50 speakers. We waited more than 3 hours, guys, up at City Hall. Everybody had to get up and work the next morning, but that didn't stop us. And some of you who are there, remember, we actually sat out in the city steps, on the steps of City Hall eating pizza, thanks to Rick Brandt, when City Council took a lunch break for 45 minutes. So what's the response that we've seen from the Mayor and City Council? This is really important. The 6-to-1 vote that occurred on December 16th at City Council was a big deal. Nobody thought that was possible. what the City Council voted on was to explore the legality and the impacts of the state of emergency and rent stabilization. That's important. That's exactly what that petition, where more than 600 of you guys have signed, is asking, that the city do everything in their legal power to make housing accessible to residents. At this point, it's not known when this report will be coming back. The mayor's office has to bring a report back to City Council about how this can proceed. Also, our new mayor-elect, Mayor Welch, has commissioned a study from the Harvard Kennedy Law School. They're on the ground right now. Many of us have spoken with those researchers that are on the ground. That research team is here to look into rent stabilization and affordable housing. We're seeing movement. That's acknowledgement. That's important. It's not known when this report will be made public to us. One of the biggest things we saw as well, our brothers and sisters over in Tampa, they are now doing the same thing through their city council as a result of the work that we did here. You all need to give yourself a round of applause. I have never seen this kind of power. And we're kind of up against problems that we've never seen at this level either. So I think a lot of us, our assessment in this, and this is really what we want you to talk about, but our assessment is that we've seen progress, we've seen acknowledgement. That has not changed the reality on the ground for us in St. Petersburg. All right, you guys ready for the big reveal? You want to see how the vote went? All right, let's hear it.
The first question that was asked was, should we escalate if our demands for a housing state of emergency is not agreed to? 100% of the people at the rally and watching virtually believed that the group should increase the pressure. The next question was, when should we escalate? 51% of the respondents wanted to demonstrate before the next meeting at City Hall. 41% wanted to do it the day of. The last question was, what type of demonstration? The response was a little more mixed. 29% wanted to picket City Hall. 21% wanted a sit-in at St. Pete Pier. 20% wanted a march along Central Avenue. The outcome was a mass demonstration at City Hall to demand a housing state of emergency in St. Petersburg, on February 17 at 5 p.m. There is a link in the description section of this video that will allow you to register for the rally.
I really want to introduce a special woman who's been going through this fight ever since we started this emergency process back in October. Her name is Stacie Rush.
Thank you. It's an honor to be able to participate. And I almost don't have a choice because it's affecting me. I've got to move out on the 31st of this month because they've raised rent from $600 to $1,300. And I really don't even know where I'm going yet. Put everything in storage and stay whatever door opens up. So I had to step up. You know, I'm your everyday citizen. I'm not a politician. And sometimes I don't even use the right verbiage. But I believe we all need to open our mouth and speak. And I had the honor at the last meeting that the WEDU was there. And they came and spoke to me, and I was able to be interviewed on their last show called That's All I'm Saying. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. So far away from home. Are you listening, Mr. Mayor, City Manager, Commissioner, City Council, or representatives? I need a home, affordable home. I need a home, affordable home. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. So far away from home. Are you listening, Mr. Mayor?